Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Washington, D.C. just got hit with a reality check. President Donald Trump has now filed court documents confirming the White House ballroom is not some cosmetic upgrade, not some vanity wish list item, but a national security project tied directly to what happened at the White House Correspondents Dinner. That means the left's favorite talking point just collapsed. Now the battle is exploding. Rand Paul's moving legislation, Lindsey Graham backing the project, even one Democrat breaking ranks. The question tonight is no longer whether the ballroom is grand enough. The question is, after an attack, why are Democrats still fighting harder against security than for it? Now, this matters to every American because presidential security is national security. When the president, vice president, cabinet officials, congressional leaders, and military decision makers are packed into one vulnerable venue, you're not talking about decor. You're talking about continuity of government. You're talking about whether America can protect its chain of command in a real threat environment. President Trump's filing makes that clear. The Trump administration is arguing that large-scale events need to happen on secured White House grounds, not in exposed outside hotels where access is harder to lock down and danger can hide in plain sight. Rand Paul says the latest assassination attempt proved it. Lindsey Graham says if a ballroom had existed on the grounds, the attacker may never have gotten close, and that's why the left is in trouble here. Their old line was, it's just a ballroom. But after what happened over the weekend, that line sounds reckless. See, Americans understand hardening the target. What they don't understand is why Democrat leaders seem determined to pretend that the threat never happened. Speaking of protecting what matters, let me take just a second to share something personal with you. Now, you see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis, endless doctor visits, treatments that didn't help. Watching her struggle daily, it broke my heart. And then Jonathan Otto introduced red light therapy to our family. Through red light therapy, her pain vanished, anxiety lifted. She's sleeping soundly, full of energy and life again. And my recovery and vitality, better than guys half my age. Truly life-changing for our family. It's backed by NASA research, FDA-cleared technology, and studies show rapid pain relief, better circulation, and faster recovery. Now, if you want something real that supports strength, healing, and daily energy, go to myredlight.com right now. Make sure you use code NNN25 for 25% off individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles. It's made a real difference in our home, and I wanted to make a difference in yours. Now back to the story, because what happened next completely exposes the Democrats' position. You ready for this? Now here's the twist. This is what the media don't want to spotlight. Even Senator John Fetterman is warning his own party to cool the rhetoric. He openly admitted the White House needs this facility to create a more secure venue. Think about that. When even Fetterman can see the obvious, what does it say about Chuck Schumer and the rest of the Trump-obsessed resistance? This is no longer a simple spending fight. This is a test of whether Democrats can admit reality when security and partisan hatred collide. Nancy Mace says she's in favor of the Trump building the ballroom with private funds, and she wouldn't oppose him building the ballroom with taxpayer funds because other presidents have done additions to the White House.
Donald Trump's been saying that private donors are going to pay for the ballroom, but now there seems to be a push for taxpayers to pay for it. What do you make of that?
I thought it was paid for. So is it?
Well, now there's talk. The Senate is in particular is pushing. Apparently, there's a Rand Paul video coming up.
Rand
Paul bill coming tomorrow, and I think Graham, Brett, and Eric Schmidt.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't read it yet. It's hard to speak on it, but I support Trump building a ballroom. Yes, of course, especially after this weekend.
But with private funds and not taxpayer funds.
Yeah, he said he was going to do it with private funds. I didn't have a problem with that.
Would you oppose taxpayers like it being paid for by the public?
No, probably not either, because it's the White House. Other presidents have done additions to the White House too.
Should it go through Congress though, or should it keep doing it unilaterally?
I think Congress is fine. I mean, Congress is the purse strings.
Congressman Coinmail.
Yeah, why not, right? Build the ballroom, taxpayer fund it. I mean, even my own son did the math. It's like $2 for every person in America. Mace just made the key point. Even some Republicans say a White House edition isn't outrageous. Now watch John Fetterman break rank with his own party.
It's not going to cost the taxpayers a penny. It's going to be one of the most secure buildings by far in the world. Why would there be any reluctance or resistance to building it when every future president will benefit from it?
I really don't understand. The only thing that I could explain that it's the TDS, for me. I mean, I was right there. I was one or two tables away from the front table with the president and the vice president thing, and I've witnessed this. But even before that even happened, I was struck by, my gosh, we have the entire, the line of succession right there in a very small kind of, area there. Johnson was there. Rubio was there, of course. The president and Vance was there too, and Hegseth, and all those people there. I mean, people have forgotten perhaps what happened in Oklahoma City back in 1995. Somebody could have bombed the building for that. And now I was the only Democrat that refused to vote to shut the DHS down, and it is. And now we're here in conflict of Iran. Iran's already have the desire to assassinate the president too. So I think after tonight there, I'm thinking we really got lucky, because it could have been far more even catastrophic, and I'm so grateful no one was hurt. But that's why I'm saying, we need to have a secure facility for events just like this. We can't ever.
John Fetterman calling it out, saying the quiet part out loud. It's a security issue. Even a Democrat can see it. Rand Paul stepping in with the answer. My bill authorizes the president to build the ballroom without any tax funds. No taxpayer money. That's exactly what President Trump intended from the very beginning. He was quote tweeting musings. Why do you really want to drop $400 million taxpayer dollars in a ballroom? What's in it for the people? We have questions. My bill authorizes the president to build the ballroom without any taxes. Rand Paul is drawing a very clear line. Authorize the ballroom, keep taxpayers out of it. Now the case gets stronger because Trump's court filing says the project's about national security. President Trump posting it to Truth Social, dropping the court filings, confirming the ballroom is for national security purposes. The left needs to drop the obstruction and drop the lawsuit, build it for current and future presidents. Here is the filing. Very difficult to read, but you can see they're citing the incident at the Washington Hilton, the security limitations of large off-site venues, security advantages of holding large events at the White House complex. I mean, it goes on and on. President Trump making the case on Truth Social, putting security front and center. Here's Lindsey Graham, said the White House ballroom is not a vanity project.
And the ballroom. Many people, I think, originally saw it as a vanity project, that President Trump wanted to build this grand ballroom as a kind of a vanity project. I don't see it that way, and I don't think it ever did. A meeting space that is secured on the White House grounds that would allow people to do what they did at the Hilton Hotel is necessary. I'm convinced if there had been a presidential ballroom adjacent to the White House, the guy would have never gotten in. Agreed. You had an event with the line of succession in a ballroom where 1,000 people were in a hotel above it. This guy apparently checked in the night before and was able to get shotguns and pistols and knives and made a rush for the ballroom door, and thank God he didn't make it.
Thank God indeed. Graham slamming the vanity project talking point, tied the ballroom directly to presidential protection. Rand Paul doubles down, saying the latest assassination scare proves the secure space is needed. Posting a thread saying, I stand with POTUS on building a new White House ballroom after the latest assassination attempt. It's clear we need the secure large-scale event space on the grounds for the president, future administrations, and for America. A person reviewed and supported this project as National Capital Planning Commissioner earlier this month. Rand Paul is all in. Trump administration files latest court motion in support of White House ballroom. Scott McFarland says it reads like a Trump Truth Social post. With random capitalization accusations, the plaintiffs are very bad for the country and suffer Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, that's true. They're very bad for our country, sure. They suffer from TDS, yes, they do. Barack Hussein Obama, that's his name, though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure President Trump had a hand in writing that. So the press mocking the wording, the substance is still security. Lindsey Graham introducing a bill to spend $400 million in taxpayer funding to the White House ballroom project. Quite the contrast to Rand Paul's offering. And enter Chuck Schumer, having a full-on meltdown over Trump fixing the White House ballroom. It's not necessary. It's typical of what is wrong with Donald Trump. He whines. No, the only person whining is you, Chuck.
There's been some discussion about the idea of including ballroom funding in reconciliation or in DHS funding. Is there any appetite amongst Democrats to either approve it without funding or to approve it with taxpayer funding? And also, just a follow-up, can you tell us what happened to your forehead?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to ask, but just, it's a...
Yeah, what happened?
Closet door was open late at night. It met my forehead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
In answer to your more important question, no, we don't need this ballroom. You want to help national security? The ballroom has nothing to do with it. Help national security by funding DHS. We don't want to fund it. We don't want to approve it. It is not necessary. It's typical of what is wrong with Donald Trump, focusing on the wrong things that appease his ego and don't help the American people one bit.
Yeah, Chuck, what did happen to your forehead there? Schumer waving off the ballroom, even as security concerns. Now, you're going a step further. Here he is on the Senate floor.
The nation wages Donald Trump's reckless war with a dangerous and erratic enemy. And as the Department of Homeland Security is still not funded because of the hijinks within the president's own party, Donald Trump has decided to focus on a taxpayer-funded, gold-plated ballroom instead of focusing on these important national security issues. The war in Iran, dangerous for the U.S. The fact that we haven't funded Homeland Security, dangerous for the U.S. Does Donald Trump roll up his sleeves and say, let's solve these problems? No. He's focused on this ballroom. This gilded, gold-plated, taxpayer-funded ballroom, instead of focusing on the important national security issues facing.
Yeah, Chuck. Okay. Listen, Donald Trump can walk and chew gum at the same time, all right? Schumer pushing the same tired line, gold-plated ego over national security. Next, Democrats go even more vulgar. Representative McBride mocking the project as taxpayer-funded Great Gatsby parties.
So Donald Trump has been saying for months that private donors are going to pay for this ballroom project. Now apparently taxpayers are going to be on the hook for it. What's up with that?
My constituents can't afford fucking grocery bills or utility bills, and he now wants to spend taxpayer money on a ballroom, on reckless wars, on a masked immigration regime. I mean, his priorities are clearly in the wrong spot, and they shouldn't use a potential tragedy to try to secure funding from taxpayers for this president to have Great Gatsby parties in the White House.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman. I appreciate
it.
Yeah, but you can certainly keep affording your hormone shots, right? See, this is the moment. President Trump's court filing changes the whole argument because it forces Washington to answer the question honestly. Do you secure the presidency for the future? Or do you block it because Trump proposed it? Rand Paul's already offered a path to build it without tax dollars. Nancy Mace says she supports it and would not even oppose public funding because presidents have long approved additions to the White House. Lindsey Graham says it's not vanity, it's protection. However, Schumer is still ranting about a gold-plated ballroom. McBride's tossing out cheap talking points about Gatsby parties. See, that tells you everything. The establishment's not debating security in good faith. They are letting Trump derangement syndrome override common sense. See, President Trump has just done what leaders do. He looked at a real security failure, moved to fix it, put the justification on paper. You know what they call that? They call that governing. The left looked at the same danger and chose mockery, delay, and obstruction. That's called political sickness. Now, whether the ballroom is funded privately through Rand Paul's approach or through legislation backed by Republicans, the core truth is simple. A secure on-site venue protects this president, future presidents, and the American people. So let me ask you this. Should the White House have a hardened event space after what just happened? Drop your answer in the comments and then share this report everywhere. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. But most importantly, that number on the screen, text the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. That is our secret line. It's our connection to bypass the algorithm's continued suppression of the Next News Network. You'll get a direct message from me. Text right to your phone. Make sure you check out the Next News merch shelf below this video because America First means protecting America First. And President Trump is doing just that.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.